Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on this video. Today we are going to be talking about an older case, but as most of you know, if you've been with me for a while here on my channel, no matter how many years have passed since someone has disappeared, I believe that they can be found and that the case can be solved. It just needs to be brought to the attention of the right people. So that's what we're going to try to do today. In 2001, 10-year-old Bianca Elaine Lebron was a 5th grader at Elias House School in her hometown of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bianca lived with her mother, Carmelita Torres, and her stepfather, Angelo Garcia. Bianca's father, Felix Lebron, was still in her life, and though her parents weren't together anymore, they got along. Bianca was a super outgoing girl. She was confident. She's been described as having a very high self-esteem, and she was a good student. She did very well in school and liked going. She wasn't a kid that would argue about having to attend. She was ready to go every day and never wanted to miss. She would even play school with the younger children in her family, and she would be the teacher. Her favorite color was purple. Her favorite food was spaghetti and meatballs. She loved singing and dancing. She really loved to go shopping. There were 2 malls close to her home, Milford Mall and Trumbull Mall, and those were her go-to places when she had a chance to shop. She also had a pet hamster named Nina that she liked caring for and playing with. The morning of Wednesday, November 7th, 2001 seemed like a regular day. Bianca got dressed for school, and by 8 a.m. she was waiting for her sister and cousins to walk to school with her, as usual. The kids took off for school, and Carmelita had told Bianca that she would see her later. The kids made their way to school, and by 8:30 a.m., Bianca was lined up with the other students in the back of Elias House School near the rear doors, waiting to go in. She was chatting with her friends and her teacher, Mr. Mamoli, and she told them that her uncle was taking her out for a day of shopping, so she wouldn't be in class. She asked some of her friends if they wanted to go too, but they said no, thank goodness. About that time, a van pulled up to the back of the school on Clinton Avenue. It was an older model, 2-tone brown and tan conversion van with tinted windows. The exterior of the van was in bad shape, and it appeared to have several areas that looked like they had been sanded down. The van you see on the screen now is not the same van, but it is one that is similar, and it's the photo posted with all the case information. No one got the plate number, but it's been mentioned that there may have been a 3 in it. The driver of the van was a Hispanic male, believed to be 20 to 30 years old, 5'8" to 5'11", with an average build. He had brown eyes, black curly hair styled in a short afro, with long sideburns and a beard. Witnesses also say he had a prominent nose and scratches on both of his cheeks. He was wearing a long-sleeved blue pullover shirt with Gap imprinted on the front and along the right sleeve, FUBU jeans with an image of the cartoon character Fat Albert on the right rear pocket, and scuffed-up brown Timberland boots. This man didn't try to conceal his face or hide his identity at all, so witnesses that were there got a good look at him. The man acted like he was supposed to be there, and apparently no one standing outside the school thought this guy looked suspicious. Bianca, seeing the van pull up, left the line of students she was in, walked right over to this van, and willingly got in it. She didn't seem to be in distress or scared. The man didn't force her into the vehicle. Bianca climbed right in by herself like she knew the guy. None of her friends nor the teacher that was standing outside watching her leave tried to stop her from going. They just assumed, well, that must be her uncle. The kids, I understand, not doing anything. The teacher, though, why are you not questioning this? When a parent is allowing their kid to take a day off school, they don't normally send them to school for just long enough for them to line up in the morning, but not actually go in. This teacher didn't think to maybe ask if she has a note from mom giving permission, didn't think to say, hey, wait, I need to call your parents and confirm that this is okay, or talk to the man picking her up even. Elias House School's policy was that if a child was absent, the school was required to call the parents. Also, if a child was being picked up by someone not on file with the school as their legal guardian, the parents had to be notified to okay it beforehand. But that didn't happen. Now, I do want to note that in an interview with Maury Povich, Carmelita, Bianca's mom, said that Bianca told the teacher she was going to go talk to her uncle real quick and would come back. That is the only time I have heard the event of that day told in this way. It isn't posted that way anywhere else. All other reports say that she told the teacher she was going shopping with her uncle and wouldn't be in class. So I don't necessarily think Carmelita was lying when she said this in the interview. I think maybe the teacher or someone at the school told her that to save their own skin. Either way, the van drove off with Bianca inside it. And when the school day started, Mr. Mamoli simply marked Bianca absent for the day. He didn't alert the school office that someone had picked up Bianca, and no one from Elias House School called home to check with Bianca's mother or inform her that her child had left the school property with someone that wasn't a parent. Had the teacher called Bianca's mother to confirm that this was a planned absence, he would have learned that Bianca didn't have an uncle, and no one in her family owned a van like the one she had been picked up in. Bianca would not be seen again. Around 4:30 p.m. that day, when Bianca had not returned home from school, her family wasn't too overly concerned right away. They just figured Bianca had gone to a friend's house or another relative's home, which she often did after school, and maybe she had forgotten to call and let them know. It had happened before. In fact, I believe it was just a few months prior when Bianca had disappeared overnight. It turned out she had slept over at a friend's house and apparently didn't call her mom to let her know she was staying there. So on this day, her mom, even though she was worried, she probably just figured this is what had happened again. And remember, her mom at this point believes Bianca attended school that day. She has no idea Bianca was marked absent. By 8:30 p.m. that night, though, panic was starting to set in. Phone calls to friends and family weren't giving Carmelita answers as to where Bianca was. And this is when Bianca's little sister, Janissa, told their mom that she hadn't seen Bianca at school at all that day. The sisters went to the same school and usually saw one another while there, but not on that day. After hearing this, Carmelita called the Bridgeport Police Department to report Bianca missing. Police arrived to find out what was going on, and again, at this time, neither the police nor Carmelita know that Bianca didn't attend class, or, more importantly, that she left with a grown man in a creepy van before the school day had even started. These details wouldn't be discovered until police went to the school to speak with the staff to find out what had gone on that day. Police were likely thinking Bianca had been at school all day and something had happened when Bianca left at the end of the day. But when the whole timeline of events came to light, they realized that this situation was much more dire. Can you imagine how that conversation went between the teacher and the investigating officer? I hope that cop ripped that teacher a new one. I might have been able to cut the teacher and the school some slack had Bianca not shown up for school at all that day, if they hadn't seen her standing there in the line waiting to go in. I could understand then that maybe they just thought that she had stayed home sick. But they saw her in line and watched her get into that van and did nothing but check a little box for absent. The teacher, Mr. Mamoli, was suspended, I believe with pay. I'm unsure if he was eventually fired, but in my opinion, he should have been. A requirement of his job was to look out for his students, and he didn't do it. Police did take Bianca's case seriously, thank goodness, and soon her story went nationwide. Her story was featured on America's Most Wanted, and Bianca's mother, Carmelita, was a guest on a Maury Povich special done for the missing. Her story was also featured in People magazine, and all of this attention did bring in some tips, but unfortunately, none of them panned out or were enough to bring Bianca home. Flyers were made and hung up everywhere. Yellow ribbons were hung up at Elias House School in remembrance of Bianca, and her family put a huge banner displaying Bianca's face on the home she had lived in. They even painted the phrase, "Bianca, we love you," on the side of the home. Police did talk to witnesses in the area near the school, and at least one neighbor reported seeing the van circling the school multiple times that morning, like they were waiting on or looking for someone. Plenty of people saw what this guy looked like and were able to give a lot of details on his appearance and the description of the van, but no one knew who this guy was. Bianca had recently started taking an interest in boys, and she had told some of her friends that she had a crush on an older man named Jason. In April of 2002, authorities began looking for a 20-year-old man named Jason Lara, but didn't know his whereabouts. He was an acquaintance of Bianca. Someone in Bianca's family was dating Jason's mother. That is how the two knew each other, and they had spent time together. In November of 2003, Jason actually called into the Bridgeport Police Department himself after seeing his name mentioned in an article about Bianca's disappearance. He told them that he was not involved, but refused to disclose his location so cops could speak with him in person. Police were able to trace the call to an address in Fort Myers, Florida, but when they arrived at that location, Jason was gone. He had moved once again. They were finally able to get a photo of him and spoke with a 53-year-old woman whom Jason was dating. The woman told police that if anything ever happened to her, Jason did it, and that she felt he was very capable of violence. She also told police that she had overheard Jason telling one of his buddies that he wanted to find a younger girlfriend. They did eventually find Jason and arrest him on an unrelated second-degree forgery charge. Turns out part of the reason he was harder to find was because he was using a different last name. He was going by the last name of Gonzalez instead of his real last name, Lara. Police questioned him and found out that Jason had lived in Bridgeport, Connecticut at the time Bianca disappeared from there, and he moved away from Bridgeport only a month after Bianca vanished. According to her family, Jason was someone Bianca would have trusted and felt safe going with. In fact, some people in Bianca's family refer to Jason as Bianca's secret boyfriend. I'm sure they were kidding when they said it, but it's still disturbing. There were also some people who claimed to have caught Bianca and Jason kissing and holding hands. Ugh. He's 20. She's 10. Lock him up and throw away the key. Bianca's cousin also said that Bianca admitted to kissing a man. I wonder, did the people who say they witnessed that going on really see that happen, or was it just a rumor? If it was true, why was this not brought to the attention of Bianca's mother? Or why didn't anyone intervene and notify someone of this creep and what he was doing? Carmelita says that she wasn't aware of any relationship her daughter was having with a man. She stated, quote, "Believe me, if I would have seen that, I think I would have jumped on him. Bianca may have a body, but she's still an innocent girl." End quote. At the time of Bianca's disappearance, Jason was out of jail and he was engaged to a woman named Corey Vitti. They had a son together and had been together for 3 years. Corey says that she had seen Jason with Bianca before, but that she was always around them too, that Bianca and Jason were never alone together. But how does she know that for sure? She was adamant that Jason had nothing to do with any of it. Do you think the girlfriend was wondering or had a little bit of doubt in the back of her mind? The accusations did lead to a fallout between Bianca's family and Jason's family. I don't have details on that. I have just read that there was some type of feuding going on there. Jason continued to deny any involvement in Bianca vanishing, and he wasn't cooperative at all. He just pretty much refused to talk about it with police. He did resemble the sketch of the suspect, and he had a friend who owned a van similar to the one Bianca was last seen getting into. But police say Jason had an alibi that they were able to confirm, so he was cleared. They have never revealed what his alibi was, though. I hope that they really checked it out and that his alibi was solid, that it wasn't just a friend that said they were together at that exact time or something. I couldn't find anything saying whether or not police... Oh, it is thundering outside. Do you guys hear that? I couldn't find anything saying whether or not police searched or did DNA testing on the friend's van that resembled the van the abductor had. Jason Lara pled guilty to a charge of interfering with a police officer and received a suspended sentence in December of 2003. In July of 2009, authorities acting on a tip dug up some areas in Seaside Park, which is a 2.5-mile-long crescent-shaped park. They had gotten information that led them to believe Bianca could have been buried there, but when they searched, they didn't find anything. There was also a reported sighting in New Mexico, but that was never confirmed. Someone in an online chat room claimed that they had seen a picture that strongly resembled Bianca. Police followed that lead, but again, nothing. So who did Bianca go with? If not Jason, then who? Was it someone else she met at a friend or relative's home after school one day? Maybe someone she met at the mall. I'm unsure of how much internet access Bianca had, if any, but she could have met someone online and maybe they were able to lure her with promises of a shopping trip or gifts. This person could have told her to lie about who he was, hence the reason she referred to the man as her uncle. Bianca probably thought this was an innocent shopping trip and that she would be taken home or back to school afterward. Maybe this depraved individual took her somewhere, made advances on her, and when she resisted, he harmed her. I don't believe Bianca knew that she wouldn't be coming back. I don't believe she planned to run away with whoever this guy is. Bianca was said to be a well-behaved child. She didn't cause any problems. From all accounts, she was happy at home and she hadn't run away before, had never skipped school. I find it hard to believe that she would willingly leave, never to see her family again, at the age of 10. We also have to consider human trafficking as a possibility. People put into human trafficking are often moved away from their home region, the area they live, or even out of the country as soon as they're taken, so it's harder for them to be found. This guy in the van could have been involved in a trafficking ring and lured Bianca for that reason. I hope that's not what it was. Bianca's mother, father, nor her stepfather are suspects in the case. Police don't believe that they are in any way involved in what happened to Bianca. Elias House School did put new attendance policies and security measures in place after the abduction, but the school did eventually shut down in 2005, and now the building serves as a housing unit for senior citizens. It's been over 21 years since Bianca Lebron disappeared, and police say, unfortunately, they don't have any new information on her case. For over 2 decades, Bianca's family has had to live not knowing what happened to her, where she is, if she's still alive out there somewhere, and if so, is she okay? Even after all this time, they hold on to hope that she'll come home someday. They still put in the effort to make sure people don't forget Bianca and that she is still missing. Bianca's aunt still lives in the home Bianca lived in when she disappeared, and she has even kept the same phone number with the hope that someday Bianca will call or maybe even show up at the door. Bianca's father now lives in Florida, but he too continues to advocate for his daughter and keeps hope that one day she'll be found. Now, Bianca's family did have her declared legally dead, not because they have lost hope and believe she is dead, but for the purpose of a lawsuit that they filed against the city and school district. The suit also listed the assistant principal and the teacher involved as defendants. The suit alleged that the carelessness of the school's employees led to Bianca's death. The lawsuit said Bianca's teacher let her leave without confirming her story and marked her absent on his attendance list, and that her family only discovered she was missing when she failed to return home from school hours later. the city of Bridgeport settled, and the city had to make 6 yearly payments of $125,000 to Bianca's family, totaling $750,000 for their negligence. I think some looked down on the family for having Bianca declared dead so quickly. I think it was less than a year after she disappeared when they did so. But I understand that they wanted someone to take responsibility for what happened, and this is what they felt they needed to do. At the time of her disappearance, Bianca was 4 feet 11 inches tall and 115 pounds. She is Hispanic with brown hair, hazel eyes, and a small birthmark on her forehead. She was last seen wearing khaki pants, a green and beige camo shirt, a denim jacket, and black boots. If alive today, she would be almost 31 years old. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Bianca Lebron or who is responsible for her disappearance, please contact the Bridgeport Police Department at 203-332-5533 or the Bridgeport Tips Line at 203-576-8477. There is a $62,000 reward for information on Bianca's whereabouts. Please share Bianca's flyer. The link is down in the description box. Share this video if you think it will help, and leave some purple hearts in the comments for Bianca. Her family deserves to know what happened to her. Whoever took Bianca away from her loved ones deserves to be punished, and someone out there has the information that can solve this and either bring Bianca home safe or at least give closure to her family. Thank you all so much for watching, sharing, supporting. I appreciate it more than you know. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and I would also highly suggest checking out my entire missing playlist, as each case I cover is super important and deserves the exposure. Thanks again, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.